Well, I guess we can all agree on when I say gear is expensive. Even though it became so much more affordable over the last 15 to 20 years, still, if you think about the lights we're using, onto the laptops, the programs that we edit on, and of course, there are our cameras. From the body to the lenses, the sort of lenses, like primes and zooms, and the list goes on. But what if I told you there's a lens that not just fits onto your camera body, but also is easy on your bank account? And that with astonishing Hollywood-like image. You think I'm kidding? Well, let's just say I left out a good amount of context. So let me give you more of that now. It is this tiny lens that I'm talking about, the Helios 44-2, a 58mm f2 lens. And it is producing the most nastiest, dirtiest and moodiest image you can imagine. But all of that in a good way. A lens from the years that Stranger Things is taking place in, the 80s baby, makes it possible. And it even found its way into Hollywood. This lens takes you into the real Gotham City, the real dark, moody Gotham, and it was used in the latest Batman movie. As far as I heard, this kind of lens was used in the rainy chasing scenes. So there you have it. A cheap old lens that gives you Hollywood character. And speaking of cheap, because they were made millions of it, they are the perfect action scene lenses. Because you can throw them and don't worry about crashing them, because they were all over the place. You see, today's sharp lenses, they give you this clean, happy-go-lucky movie look. You know, the kinds of movies that you turn on Sundays when you're cleaning up your room and you need something to hear in the background. But lenses like the Helios, vintage lenses, they suck you into the image they produce. They are like storyteller inside the story. But let's take a look into the footage that I took with my Sony a7IV and the Canon EOS R and see what kind of picture this lens produces. So, as you can see, it is a lot going on in this lens. And that's because lenses from the 70s and 80s, they are messed up. You never know where the focus point is because it's all over the place and nowhere. There are flares of different kind of looks. You have washed out flares, you have rainbow beams, hot spots, and wide open this lens becomes milky. Not in a bad way, more in the sense of the morning forest fog kind of milky. And all of this is happening because this is a detuned lens. I don't know if it's detuned on purpose. Back in the 70s and 80s, like I said, they are messed up. But the center is almost always the sharpest point of this lens on the frame. And it tends to fall off towards the edges. And then, my friend, there's the most fun part of this lens, the bokeh it produces. This lens is known for a swirly look. It's not just bokeh. Around the center, the bokeh balls, they are rounded. And towards the edges, the bokeh becomes more like a football shape. This can even add a fisheye kind of look with a 58mm lens. It is just an imperfect character that it produces. Especially with this added texture. Here you see the texture that is produced inside the lens. While you pan in one direction, it seems that some bokeh balls are moving the opposite way. It is just the lens you use as a tool. You use it on purpose. Where so many creators are searching for the sharpest lens today, these lenses, the vintage lenses, they give you the opportunity to work more in a niche, to set yourself apart, to set your films apart from the rest of the creators out there. With this lens, you add a little bit of flavor to your films and documentary that makes it more mystery, more moody. As you can see, let me show you here. You see this spot here, this dark spot? This is actually my dog. Yeah, this is my dog, as you will see when I focus on it. For example, it's perfect to create POV emphasis. Let's just say you have a scene where somebody was unconscious, wakes up dizzy, tries to find out where he is, what he has to do to figure out the situation, to get out of the situation. This kind of lens is the lens you want to use for that. Because this lens lets your viewer feel the emotion. It tells the story to it. And with its f2, it is also capable to film in low light. Color-wise, it adds a little bit of blue that can be fixed in post, but also it's a great combination with the Kodak 2383 LUT in DaVinci, as you can see here. The smooth transition from the foreground towards the background in combination with the film simulation makes it an even more realistic film kind of look. So if you want to add a little bit of spiciness with imperfection character, you can't go wrong with the Helios, because it's a storytelling lens. So with that being said, I hope you learned something. Subscribe to the channel, leave me a thumbs up, check out other creators that talk about the Helios. There are a bunch of videos, and I'll see you in the next one.